The Second Amendment is a key part of the United States Constitution. It was written a very long time ago. It says, "A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, shall not be infringed." The Founding Fathers wrote these words. They were thinking about state militias. These militias were for the country's security back then. This amendment is short, but it causes big debates today. So, what does this amendment mean for Americans now? Many people believe it gives individuals a personal right. This is the right to own guns. It's not just for people serving in a militia. The Supreme Court has looked at this. It has said that individuals can keep guns, for instance, for self-defense in their own homes. This interpretation is very important for many gun owners, but there is still a big question people argue about. It's about the phrase well-regulated militia. What does that part really mean for gun rights? Does it mean the right to own guns is only for militias? Or is it just an old phrase introducing a broader right? Some people argue it strictly limits gun ownership to militia service. Others strongly disagree, saying the right is for all individuals. This difference in understanding is a central point of the entire debate. This right to bear arms is very American. You do not often see such a strong protection for gun ownership. Not in most other developed countries around the world. This unique aspect deeply shapes American culture. It also profoundly influences the nation's politics. For some citizens, it represents a fundamental freedom. For others, it is a significant source of worry and concern. This constitutional protection sits at the heart of the gun discussion. Republicans generally have very clear views on gun rights. They usually see the Second Amendment as an absolute individual right. This right is considered fundamental to personal liberty. They believe the government should not place heavy restrictions on it. This is a core principle for the Republican Party. Freedom to own firearms is paramount in their view. They often link this to historical ideas of fending off tyranny, but modern arguments focus more on personal protection from crime. Why do they feel guns are so important? A major reason is self-defense, they will tell you. People must have the ability to protect themselves. They need to protect their families and their property. Criminals can pose a real and immediate threat. The police cannot be present everywhere all the time. Having a gun can act as a deterrent to potential attackers. This belief helps many gun owners feel safer in their daily lives. Republicans also often stand against gun registration systems. They do not want the government to keep lists of gun owners. They express serious concerns about government overreach. A primary worry is that such lists could lead to gun confiscation. This is a significant fear for many who hold this viewpoint. They view gun registration as an invasion of personal privacy. They see it as a slippery slope toward losing their rights. This deep distrust of government tracking is a major factor. Furthermore, a common Republican argument is a simple one. They say that guns don't kill people, people kill people. The problem, in their view, lies with individuals who misuse firearms. It is the person, not the object, who is responsible for violence. So, the focus should be on punishing criminals effectively, or on addressing underlying issues like mental health. They believe that new gun laws mainly burden law-abiding citizens, and these laws, they argue, do not deter criminals determined to get weapons. Democrats often look at the Second Amendment in a different light. They tend to place more emphasis on the well-regulated part. From their perspective, this phrase suggests that rules are permissible. They believe the right to own guns is not unlimited. Public safety is a huge concern for most Democrats. They view gun violence as a serious public health crisis, and they believe this crisis demands solutions through government action. The government must play a role in keeping communities safe. Because of this, Democrats generally support more gun control measures. For example, they often advocate for universal background checks. This would mean checks for all gun sales, including private ones. The aim is to prevent guns from falling into dangerous hands. They also want to close existing loopholes in gun laws. They argue that current laws have too many gaps. These gaps can allow prohibited individuals to obtain firearms. They are convinced that stronger regulations will ultimately save lives. Certain types of firearms particularly worry many Democrats. These include what they term assault-style weapons. They also express concern about high-capacity magazines. These magazines can hold many bullets, allowing for rapid firing. Democrats often argue such weapons are designed for warfare and are not necessary for civilian self-defense in a home. Red flag laws also receive support, allowing temporary gun removal. Gun-free zones in places like schools are seen as vital safety measures. Democrats firmly believe that these kinds of rules can make a difference. They contend that more regulations lead to fewer gun deaths and injuries. They often point to the experiences of other developed countries. Many nations with stricter gun laws have lower rates of gun violence. This comparison strengthens their argument for more control. For Democrats, it is about finding a balance. Individual rights must be weighed against the collective good, and that collective good includes public safety for everyone. It is important to recognize something about both sides. Both Republicans and Democrats ultimately want people to be safe. This is a fundamental, shared desire. Neither side wishes to see ongoing violence. Neither side wants more individuals to be harmed by guns. This common goal for safety often gets lost. It gets lost in the heated and often emotional debates. Remembering this shared aim is a crucial starting point. The primary disagreement lies in how to achieve that safety. It also involves differing levels of trust in government and different views on the balance between liberty and security. Republicans tend to prioritize individual freedom. They are often wary of government power and potential overreach. Democrats, on the other hand, often place more trust in government. They see it as an entity that can enact regulations for the common good. Protecting all citizens is a key priority for them. Ideas about where responsibility lies also differ significantly. Republicans frequently emphasize the importance of personal responsibility. They argue that responsible, law-abiding gun owners are not the problem. The focus should be on those who misuse guns. Democrats, conversely, often highlight societal responsibility. They believe society as a whole needs rules. These rules are to protect everyone, even from the actions of a few. These contrasting perspectives naturally lead to very different proposed solutions. So, the debate over guns in America is incredibly complex. It touches upon some of the nation's most deeply held beliefs. Beliefs about freedom are central to the American identity. Beliefs about safety and security are equally important. The proper role of the government is constantly debated. Finding workable solutions requires careful listening from all sides. Understanding these varied perspectives is absolutely essential. The path forward is challenging as it involves more than just laws, it involves values.